Hey everyone, welcome to the GitLab Runner 15.3 kickoff video. Darren Easton, your product manager for GitLab Runner Core, SaaS, and Fleet, joined by Gina Doyle, our product design lead. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it, and Gina will share her screen out and chat with you about the great new features and capabilities that's coming in Runner Fleet in 15.3. Gina.
Thanks, Darren. All right, I'll start sharing. So just as a reminder, the runner fleet category provides users who have large fleets of runners with an overall glance of all of their runners at once and provides a bunch of different management capabilities. And then in the future, we're shooting to provide analytics of your fleet of runners. So it makes it easier to manage all of them. And for 15.3, we are working on a lot of features to improve usability, specifically around runner version management. We did get a really great iteration of this feature in 15.1 and 15.2, but we're going to continue working on that in 15.3. And then another big one that we're still working through is bulk deleting runners, and we're starting with the admin view here. There's still some work that we're working out in the back end for this, because we want to make sure that we're providing you with all of the information possible when you're deleting runners in case you make a mistake. So we're working to finish this out in 15.3. And then some other issues that we're working on, I'm just going to pick one of these, but that project runner should have a clear root project. So currently, when you have project runners, you can assign them to multiple projects, and that makes it difficult to be able to find where that runner originated from, which project owns it in that way. So that sometimes makes it more difficult to manage them as well. So we're going to be adding this root project so you have more insight into who the owner is. And then on the user experience side, we are working on the group runners issue, where today we're only displaying the runners that are created by that group. So you, if you're going into your group and then go into the runners page, we don't show you all of the runners that are available to that group. So like all of the shared runners available to you, all of the subgroup runners, everything like that. So we want to be able to display those so that, one, there's more discoverability in those, and two, if you were to need to set up a runner, you would know all of the ones that already exist and that are available to you. And then the other one that the UX team is working on is the category maturity scorecard for runner fleet. So last milestone, we did recruiting for this, and this milestone will be focusing on actually running the sessions with real users and being able to evaluate the maturity of our category and hopefully move up in maturity. And that is it from the runner fleet side. Darren, I'll pass it to you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Gina. That's awesome. Yeah, I just want to add, just before I jump into Runner Core and Runner SaaS, the bulk lead feature, which we knew was important, and as Gina was pointing out, we started the admin view, or we're starting in the admin view first, and then any new feature capabilities like that, then we are propagating down to the group views, and then later on we have this grand vision of completely reworking the project view. And it's just really interesting that just this morning, in a completely different conversation, our customers or some user community that's kind of focused on using the runner in Kubernetes, they were desperately needing this capability because of the number of runners that gets created automatically when they're testing out auto scaling with the Kubernetes executive. So the bulk delete feature is super important for a lot of different use cases. So it's really excited to see that coming in. Hey, so let me share my screen out really fast and then just talk really briefly about what's happening in Runner Core and Runner SaaS. And again, for folks who are just looking at this video for the first time, a few months ago, maybe almost a year ago now, we decomposed Runner into 3 main categories just so that's a little bit more digestible. And Runner Core is where we just is where we're focused on the main Runner engine, right? All of the capabilities and features that goes into the main Runner engine itself. In 15.3, just like in 15.2, all the previous releases so far this year, when you come to our iteration plan, you'll see that we're working on burning down our backlog of significant or severe severity 2 bugs. And so you'll see some work here related to those. I'm not going to go through those in detail. In terms of new features, though, in 15.3, the first thing I want to call your attention to is Podman. Podman is a drop-in replacement for Docker when using a GitLab runner, specifically the GitLab runner Docker executor. It was in 15.1, we released this as a beta. And since then, in the last couple of weeks, we have confirmed that the latest Podman binary with the fixes that we worked on with our Red Hat Alliance partners actually solved all of our issues. So we are very confident we'll wrap up the work. And in 15.3, you will be able to use Podman as a fully supported drop-in replacement with GitLab runner in place of Docker. So we're super psyched to see that. And then we'll continue, obviously, as we move forward, iterating on that capability set. So Podman as drop-in replacement, that's coming in runner core in 15.3. The other thing I just want to call out as well, it's happening in 15.3, and that's part of our longer term strategy. So just going to jump into this set of capabilities here. And it's highlighted or the preamble is next runner token architecture. If you click into them, and I'll click into this, you can have a look. This is just one small iteration that's part of a larger initiative at Epic. And so as you're seeing this issue here, it's tied to a broader Epic. And so there's a lot more details. And to summarize, what we're doing is we're incrementally going to be changing out the runner token architectural model. And the goal and the vision is to make it much more secure, much more scalable, much more manageable over the long term. So this is a small incremental feature, and you'll see more of this as we go into the back end of this fiscal year and the first half of next year. But if you're interested in what's happening here, if you want to comment on any of this, this particular strategy as relates to the running token architecture, just go ahead and pop over to this issue, pop over to the Epic, and go ahead and ping us on it and take a look and see what we're doing. So runner core, Podman's coming 15.3, and then we're hopefully getting some of the initial incremental work going on changing out or taking a new approach to the runner token architecture. In terms of runner SaaS, and runner SaaS is specifically focused on the GitLab SaaS runners that are available for you as a customer or user on GitLab.com. Just to reiterate, if you're a GitLab.com user today, if this is your first time onboarding to GitLab, GitLab.com, you do not have to set up a runner to start taking advantage of the great capabilities that's there with GitLab CI, right? The GitLab SaaS runners that we currently have in place today will automatically kick off your workflows on a Linux OS machine with our Docker executor. We also have on GitLab.com runners that will run your workloads in a Windows shell executor. So if you have Windows workflows, you can also run those right away on GitLab.com without having to set up your own runners. What we're doing in 15.3 is we're finally starting to pivot and expand and work towards expanding the footprint in terms of various resource types, i.e. more compute choices for the Linux runners with our Docker executors and GitLab.com. So if things go well in 15.2 and 15.3, cross my fingers that we can actually make meaningful traction on this, you'll start seeing us offering new machine types for those GitLab SaaS Linux runners. And specifically what we have on deck for 15.3, we're going to start off with just some GCP N1 standard 2s and standard 4 virtual machines. And then once we've gotten sort of that going, you'll see us kind of evolve that offer set later on this year into next year. We'll start opening up the aperture more and giving you more computing choice on GitLab.com. And just to kind of add on one little additional piece of clarification or information for those folks that don't have the full context, our GitLab.com runner fleet is hosted on Google Cloud. So we take advantage of all of the scaling of the Google Cloud platform, all of the security that's inherent in the Google Cloud platform, and of course, all of the various types of compute offerings that are available in the Google Cloud platform. Till now, we have restricted the Google Compute resource types that we've offered. But as I mentioned now, we're setting the pivot and open up that aperture. So if you go to google.com, Google Cloud, and you look at a catalog of Google Compute offerings, we are looking at that as well and trying to figure out which one of those offerings makes sense to expose automatically for you as a GitLab.com customer. Then we've got some other things that we're working on as well in terms of capabilities and reliability work for Runner SaaS, looking at some things with regards providing some additional insights into network health between our GitLab.com runners, for example, and connections to external container registries. We've got a number of large customers on GitLab.com that they don't always rely on our GitLab.com container registry. They might be pulling container images from other registries or pushing to other registries when they do their container builds. And so as the provider for the GitLab CI service, we have to ensure that as our customers are interacting with these various platforms, that we're able to say, okay, yes, the network performance, the ingress to egress between GitLab.com and those other platforms are such that you can reliably and efficiently run your workloads. So we've got tons of work planned there in 15.3 for Runner SaaS. And just in closing, I just want to call your attention to just kind of two kind of points and wrapping up. In each of these kickoff videos, we talk about specifically the features that we're actively working on. We feel pretty confident will ship in that next release. And so that's what you see here on the screen is that iteration plan. You can comment on this iteration plan. Feel free to take a look at it and click through on any of the issues here and make comments. If you want to kind of step back a bit and kind of take a broader look or a 20,000-foot level view, if you will, at our long-term strategy, to do that, you want to go to our direction pages. And so we've got direction pages for Runner Core, which is here about.gitlab.com, direction verify Runner Core. We've got the same thing for Runner SaaS and the same thing for Runner Fleet. And please take a look, drop us any comments or feedback that you have. But the idea is that we're trying to provide you that high level view of just broadly speaking, our vision for each of these product categories under the Runner umbrella, and then B, generally speaking, where things are going over the next few quarters and into the next fiscal year, kind of just broad strokes of our long-term strategy. So these direction pages gives you that broad long-term strategy kind of roadmap theme kind of a view. And then on these conversations, on these calls, we kind of go a little bit more tactical and talk about what's happening in that particular release. So that's it for 15.3. Gina, anything in closing? I will cheers, and I will look forward to seeing you next time in another iteration, another Runner kickoff video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.